Делаем, скорость. 10 секунд еще. Делаем. Делаем, 5 секунд.
Makhachev is, in my opinion, and this might come as a hot take, I think he is an elite striker. I mean, listen, what do you need to prove if you're Islam Makhachev to be...
Islam Makhachev has officially kicked off his first week of training camp for the highly anticipated clash with Jack Della Maddalena, and the former lightweight king is wasting no time dialing in his preparation. Meanwhile, Kilsanen stated that Jack Della is a formidable challenge for Islam, praising his style and skill set. He noted that if Makhachev competed at 155 pounds, Maddalena would have a strong chance of defeating him, but at 170 pounds, the task becomes more difficult.
The reality is Jack is one hell of a hard fight. His style and his skill, if Jack weighed 170 and Islam weighed 155, Jack could beat him. If they both weigh 170, it'll make it harder on Jack, and I don't know, and I'm not ready to give you an analysis. I'm just saying, if they were the same and Jack just had that little small advantage, it would be enough. Like, Jack is right there with Islam, but that doesn't matter. It has to be, the only way you can make money is with an anticipation. There has to be an anticipation. It has to be done ahead of time.
Sonnen assessed that both fighters are closely matched in their abilities, making this a highly competitive contest.
It's a great match. It's a lot closer match than you think it is. It's also a pivotal match. We're two different divisions, we're two different athletes, we're two different worlds go from here.
Determined to secure victory, Islam Makhachev has already begun his training camp. He has been spotted putting in intense cardio sessions on the exercise bike, pushing himself to the limit and only coming to a halt when instructed by his coaches.
Давай. Делаем, скорость. 10 секунд еще. Делаем. Делаем, 5 секунд. Делаем, время.
Adding to that, Lucas Tracy described Islam Makhachev as both an elite grappler and an elite striker, adding that he has nothing left to prove as he already sits at the top of the UFC roster. He noted that while Makhachev's striking may not match the flash of fighters like Peter Yan or Alexander Volkanovski, those opponents do not possess the same level of grappling expertise that Makhachev brings to the cage.
In my opinion, and this might come as a hot take, I think he is an elite striker. I mean, listen, what do you need to prove if you're Islam Makhachev to be up there with Yan and Volk? Like, yeah, is Makhachev going to show us as impressive striking as Yan or Volk? Not necessarily, but Volk is not going to show us as impressive grappling as Makhachev is, right? I think that Makhachev striking, he's going out there and he's schooling Oliveira on the feet, hardly getting touched, making Oliveira look a little bit silly. And yeah, there are moments where he looks like a bit of a sloppy guy on the feet, but he outstrikes Oliveira. If you're just talking about Oliveira, you're saying he's a good striker. Maybe not elite, but he's a good and dangerous striker. Makhachev schooled him, dropped him.
In contrast, Lucas Tracy assessed Jack Della Maddalena as having solid defensive grappling, but lacking any real offensive grappling threat, questioning when Maddalena has ever actively pursued a takedown.
He's got good teeps to the body. He's a really elite striker. But as far as I'm concerned, the talk of JDM being a great grappler is all he said, she said. But what have you proven? Now, the one really impressive thing he did against Gilbert Burns was reverse a position, right? That was really impressive. But outside of that, it's really just takedown defense. And again, like, Gilbert Burns is not that great offensively on the ground. A lot of people can survive against Gilbert Burns on the ground. Just because JDM didn't get finished doesn't mean he's like some wizard on the ground. I mean, Wonderboy Thompson didn't get finished or was totally chilling when Gilbert Burns was controlling him. So, again, really, just think about it. We know that he's got good ground game. We know that he's pretty good.
He acknowledged that on closer inspection, Maddalena shows some crafty techniques, yet made it clear that his primary identity is that of a boxer and an elite striker. In Tracy's view, labeling Maddalena as an elite grappler is nothing more than unfounded hype.
A lot of people are just talking about JDM's grappling, and I'm assuming that he's got good grappling because he trains with Craig Jones, but that's kind of what it is. I feel like he's got the Craig Jones aura. So, I don't know, man. I'm not ready to say he's like B- well-rounded. I'm sorry. He's just not shown us enough offensive grappling, and he's not even shown us enough phenomenal defensive grappling. Like, again, not getting submitted by Gilbert Burns is not really a flex. Gilbert Burns doesn't finish anyone on the ground. So I'm not sitting here and telling you that JDM's a bad grappler. I'm just saying he's not shown it a lot.
Moreover, in another clip making rounds, we can see Islam practicing his ground game and its submission, making sure his skills don't get rusty and he stays at the top of his game.
Это как называется? Давид, молодец, ты держался, честно сказать.
However, Khabib Nurmagomedov drew a comparison, saying that if Islam Makhachev were scheduled to face both Jack Della Maddalena and Ilia Topuria, Jack would be the greater concern in preparation. He acknowledged Topuria's danger but noted that Maddalena brings a comparable level of sharpness while carrying a much larger frame.
Считаю, что Мадалена самый сложный соперник в ислама карьере. Это мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. Ни один из этих бойцов...
И даже не Илья, если бы это бой был бы.
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Мадалена 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощнее, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Ну, для меня, если я, например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Маддалены, для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Маддалена.
In addition, Islam Makhachev has also been putting considerable effort into his stand-up game, showing that he's not relying solely on his grappling. Training footage shows him working the heavy bag with crisp punches and sharp kicks, delivering each strike with precision and accuracy. Building on that, Jack's head coach, Ben Vickers, revealed that JDM has returned to pad work with a huge smile on his face. He stressed that after 11 years of relentless daily training, living and breathing MMA, it's tough for Maddalena to simply take a break and do nothing.
Like, for a guy that has been 11 years training every day, like day in, day out, week in, week out, living, sleeping, breathing MMA, it's been hard for Jack to just have to sit on the sidelines and not be able to do anything.
Moreover, Islam Dulatov dismissed the notion that Islam Makhachev will easily defeat Jack Della Maddalena. He emphasized that this matchup poses significant challenges. Dulatov noted that while Makhachev's size is a key advantage at lightweight, it becomes less prominent at welterweight, where Maddalena appears to be the naturally heavier fighter. He also highlighted the stylistic differences, anticipating that Makhachev will thrive in grappling exchanges, whereas Maddalena will excel in striking.
What are your opinions on that fight, and who do you think's gonna win?
I think a lot of people think that it's gonna be an easy fight for Islam, but I don't think that it's gonna be that easy. I think Islam gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight for him, like everybody thinks. Because Islam is maybe big for lightweight, but he's not big for welterweight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's why I would say, like, I don't know, he don't look for me so big.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's just on pictures or whatever, but actually, you know, I think JDM has a lot more of weight than him. But at the end of the day, I think JDM has better striking, and Islam has for sure the better ground game.
However, Islam isn't the only one that has kicked off his training camp. Jack Della Maddalena also has zeroed in on his preparation, returning to the gym with full focus and working to get in peak shape for the showdown with Makhachev.
pretty good session. Good to get a move around, get a sweat on. Did as much as I could without the hand. Now I'm just going to head home and get in the sauna, have an ice bath, hot and cold.
It's in date with the UFC. I'll come back to you guys with the event, location, all the details, and that should give StreetX everything they need to you guys to go ahead with formulating something for Jack.
And jumping off that date with the upcoming collection.
Sharp. Yeah, sharp now. Don't worry about that. He can defend himself. Sharp. That's what I want. Beautiful. Body. Yeah, good movement. Don't ever be there. Hold you still for long.
In a shocking turn of events, Ilia Topuria made waves by claiming he could defeat both Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. He went on to add that if Makhachev fails to win, he would step in and challenge Maddalena for the welterweight title.
Jack is, like, he's a big fucking guy too, right?
That fight would be great also.
You versus Jack?
Yeah, I would love to fight him.
I saw Khabib said that he thinks that Jack is a harder fighter for Islam than you.
But he's gonna say that's the fight they have ahead. They're not gonna say, no, we are fighting a easier opponent than Ilia. He has to say that. There's always respect.
Of course.
How you cannot respect, like, people who's fighting for their dreams and they work hard. But another thing is that when it comes to the competition, me against you, I'm always going to choose myself.
In contrast, the Weasel offered his perspective, noting that this matchup presents a far more compelling challenge for Islam Makhachev than a bout with Ilia Topuria. He explained that going up against a larger opponent changes the dynamics entirely.
Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev is such a fascinating fight, and I think it's even better than the Topuria fight for Islam. It's a bigger opponent at welterweight instead of a former featherweight. Islam's also a big guy who can make welterweight, so I like this fight a lot more. Jack has really good striking skills, he has great takedown defense, an amazing ability to scramble, he has good punching power. It's such a good fight. And if he is able to defend takedowns against Bilal Muhammad, who trains with Islam, there is something interesting there about him fighting Islam himself, right? He can get past Bilal. Can he step up another level and beat the guy who pretty much ragdolls Bilal in the training room? So JDM has to fight at another level compared to his performance against Bilal Muhammad in order to defeat the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world.
Adding to that, Paul Felder assessed the upcoming bout between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena as a compelling matchup. He explained that Maddalena should approach the contest with the mindset that Makhachev is stepping into his division, the bigger stage, and seize the opportunity to assert dominance.
I think it's going to be a very interesting fight between Islam and Jack. I mean, and I think that's how Jack should feel. He should feel like, hey, you're coming up to my weight class. I know you were the great at 155. All that is fantastic. But now you're in the big boy leagues at 170 pounds.
Building on that, Alexander Volkanovski described Jack Della Maddalena as a solid and physically dense fighter, noting that while Islam Makhachev will enter the bout as a well-sized contender for the division, he will quickly feel the difference in size and pressure when facing Maddalena.
I think, Jack Della's, I didn't realize, because I trained with him, but then you see him up against a lot of the other. I'm used to training with some bigger guys as well, but you realize how solid he is. He's just dense. Jack Della is just he's not the tallest, but he's just dense, thick everywhere. So, Islam, he's going to be a decent size even for welterweight, but he might notice a bit of a difference in size there, especially with the pressure that Jack will bring. That weight behind his pressure, when you're coming forward and all that, it's just hard to get that person on the back foot, because Jack, you won't do it, especially with his size and his confidence in his pressure. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
In addition, Volkanovski commended JDM for his exceptional composure during fights, highlighting his knack for staying locked in on the task at hand, and he noted that Maddalena avoids overthinking an opponent's potential moves, instead focusing on delivering his best performance and confronting any adversity when he is facing it.
But I believe that what would have helped Jack leading into this fight, I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, I guarantee you, if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down. So I think that's going to be a beautiful pre-fight for Islam. I think Islam's going to be a little bit better with the training, the wrestling than Bilal, and the holding, top position and stuff like that. But I think that was a perfect fight to lead in because Bilal is no joke there as well. So I'm really interested to see how that fight goes.
What I love about Jack Della and what he did with Bilal is he will, you get people that are worried about the takedown. So and then they don't fight their fight on the feet. I'm gonna fight my fight and worry about the takedown when it's there.
Exactly.
And that's perfect. You need to be like that. For me, like with Islam, was like, I'm gonna do my thing. Yeah, I'll be worried about it, but at the same time, find the shots to go in, boom, boom, boom. But I'll worry about the takedown when they're
Later
there. But
on,
I'll still
once
commit
you
to
realize
things.
you can handle it, then you were just like, fuck this shit, I can handle it.
And the confidence Jack Della is going to have now from getting through that, even though he's going to be confident. And then there's another one when you're successful with guys that are very dominant there. When you have the success there, then all of a sudden you're like, okay.
However, Michael Bisping noted that Alexander Volkanovski, a naturally smaller competitor, managed to cause Islam Makhachev significant problems, which raises the stakes when the opponent is Jack Della Maddalena. He explained that Maddalena, a true full-sized welterweight with considerable power, presents a very different scenario. Bisping, along with Paul Felder, emphasized that Madalena's size, sharp striking, and calm demeanor in the cage could prove to be a serious test for Makhachev.
But if you've ever been around him, he's not a very big man. He is the man, but he's a smaller man, okay? Yeah. And that first fight with Islam, the first one, he gave him everything he could handle. Yeah. Jack Della Maddalena is not a small 170-pounder, so I think...
And he brings all those same problems. Yeah, he brings all the takedown defense, the ability to scramble, and I think even better striking than anybody that Islam has really faced recently. Poirier had some moments, landed some good shots, and Jack has that and more, and is a much bigger, stronger guy at 170 pounds.
Moreover, Josh Thompson reflected on the evolution of both Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev, noting that he had witnessed them perform impressively against top-tier opponents during their younger years. Since then, he observed that both fighters have grown significantly alongside the overall progression of the competition around them.
Now it's coming into uncharted territory because I've seen how well they did against guys that were at the top at the time when they were younger. They're now a lot better, but so a lot of other people have gotten better with them. JDM wasn't even around when I was fighting, basically, and the guys those guys that Islam and Habib were training with back then, those guys are gone. Even though they were at the top of the chain back then, those guys are not in the sport anymore now. And so I know how good they are when they were competing against 170 pounders. I know their ability to take people down, and I said this,
In addition, Josh Thompson predicted that the current odds for the clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena will begin to shift as the fight draws nearer, with momentum likely to sway as anticipation builds.
When the fight's going to take place, but if you want those early odds, you want to jump on that bet right there. If you think JDM's going to get the win at plus 182, I'd jump on it, man. I jump on it. If you think Islam's going to get that win at minus 220, I would imagine these odds will start to shake out a little bit closer as the fight gets there. It'll end up being closer to even money by the time this fight comes to fruition, which I'm assuming around probably September.
Interestingly, Dana White added intrigue to the build-up by hinting that if Islam Makhachev captures the welterweight title, a blockbuster super fight could be on the table. He acknowledged the magnitude of such a matchup and noted that the UFC would seriously explore making it happen, given the star power at play and the potential impact on the sport.
Fuck, what? Another massive fight would be Ilya versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? Yeah. When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is, too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilya. So
could that be, if Islam gets one victory, could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do, sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. Mm-hmm. these are options that we have if things play out that way.
Is there any headway on Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena if that title fight's going to get booked soon?
I'll let you know when we get it done.
And just kind of piggybacking off that, obviously with Ilya's win, everyone's really excited to potentially see a future fight with him and Islam. I know that's the fight that people wanted. Ilya said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to make.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Additionally, Charles Oliveira long pointed out that Jack Della Maddalena fights with a measured and strategic approach. Rather than chasing an early knockout, he systematically wears opponents down, taking them into the later stages of the fight until they fade. Oliveira expects Maddalena to use a similar blueprint against Islam Makhachev to the one he employed in his bout with Belal Muhammad.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
Adding to that, Craig Jones revealed that he has been refining Jack Della Maddalena's ground game and takedown defense, and made it clear that he plans to give Islam Makhachev the same problems he helped Jack give to Belal Muhammad.
UFC hates me.
You think so?
But they also hate Dagestani wrestlers, and Jack Della is fighting Islam Makhachev, so it's a catch-22. They're like, fuck, we hate this guy, but we hate these wrestlers as well. So I think they want me. I helped them get rid of Belal. Like, hold on a bit longer, guys. We'll get rid of Islam Makhachev for you.
Team up. How did this happen? Because was this the first time you cornered him?
First time cornered him. I've trained with him a little bit, back and forth. I'm trying to even. I go to so many places. My memory's terrible. I brought him in. Well, I encouraged the team to bring him in, and it was obviously also beneficial for Jack at the time as well. Jack was getting ready to face Gilbert Burns, and Volks was getting ready to face Ilia Topuria.
Similarly, Kamaru Usman stressed that Islam Makhachev should not expect an easy night.
But I feel like people are sleeping on JDM.
That do good, man.
And that's what I said last time. Like, we can't.
Furthermore, he reminded fans that Jack Della Maddalena was underestimated before his fight with Belal Muhammad, and overlooking him again would be a serious mistake.
We can't sleep on JDM. Like when he was going up against Belal, everyone's talking about Belal.
I thought Belal was gonna take him down.
With training camps intensifying, odds expected to shift, and the tantalizing possibility of a blockbuster super fight dangling in the background, the countdown to fight night promises a storm of anticipation. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next video with more exciting updates.